Hey, Celtics fans. Tonight is one of those nights where you can actually feel the electricity in the air. After months of speculation, off-season chatter, and endless debates about rotations and player development, it finally comes down to basketball. Real games, real plays, and real moments where we get to see how this team is going to respond under pressure. I don't know about you, but I'm so ready to see the Celtics in action. There's something special about watching these guys step onto the court, knowing that everything they worked for during training camp, all the conditioning, and all those scrimmages are about to get tested in a real environment. One of the things that has me particularly intrigued is how the coaching staff is going to manage the young players. It's always a delicate balance, giving them enough freedom to grow, make mistakes, and learn, while also making sure they understand that effort and discipline are non-negotiable. And from everything we've seen in the preseason, this Celtics team is not the kind to take it easy. Mazzulla is not here to babysit or go easy on anyone. Miss a defensive assignment? You're coming out. Miss a rebound you should have secured? You're getting a quick hook. That kind of accountability is exactly what sets championship teams apart, and it's fascinating to watch how the players adapt to that. Will the rookies step up? Can the young wings hold their own against established stars? These are the questions that make the start of the season so compelling. Take someone like Xavier Tillman, for instance. Watching him in practice and during preseason, there's a certain resemblance to an older Al Horford, not just in stature, but in the way he moves on the floor. The way he positions himself defensively, his footwork, his anticipation. These are all traits that could make him a key factor when matching up against someone like Joel Embiid. And then you have the wings and guards, who are going to be tested on both ends of the floor. Can Josh May knock down the open threes? Is Jordan Walsh fully healthy? Will Hugo move up the depth chart and contribute in meaningful minutes? These are all variables that make the Celtics rotation so exciting and unpredictable. Defensively, it's going to be a chess match. Philly is not a team you can just outscore without respect to their bigs. Embiid is still one of the most dominant forces in the league, and the Celtics need to approach him not by trying to completely shut him down, which is nearly impossible, but by forcing him to work, making him uncomfortable, and controlling the pace around him. Speed, agility, and smart positioning are going to be critical. And the Celtics have been working on exactly that in practice, focusing on movement, spacing, and conditioning, with the goal of neutralizing Embiid as much as possible without overcommitting. The idea is not to go mano-a-mano in a battle of raw power, but to make him earn everything, take away easy looks, and test his endurance over the course of the game. It's also going to be interesting to see how Mazzulla handles the pace offensively. There's a lot of talk about whether this team will push the tempo or slow it down. But from what we've observed, the Celtics seem ready to run when they can. Running doesn't just mean fast breaks. It means aggressive ball movement, spacing, and exploiting mismatches before the defense can fully set up. If you look at the roster, there's so much versatility. Players who can stretch the floor, drive, and find open teammates, which gives the Celtics the potential to dominate both ends of the court if executed properly. And that's the big if, execution. We've seen in preseason that when things click, it looks seamless, but when one piece is off, even slightly, it can throw off the rhythm entirely. That's why watching these first games is so crucial. The season opener is more than just a first step. It's a statement. For the veterans, it's about establishing authority and leadership. For the younger players, it's about finding their place, showing they belong, and understanding the intensity required to compete at this level. For the Celtics as a unit, it's about cohesion. How well do they communicate on defense? How well do they rotate? Can they sustain energy through the fourth quarter? These are questions that cannot be answered in practice. They can only be answered on the hardwood, under the bright lights, with the crowd roaring and the clock ticking down. Offensively, the Celtics have been experimenting with wing rotations and perimeter spacing. There's a lot of curiosity surrounding how many threes they're going to take, how often they're going to push the tempo, and how they're going to integrate some of the new faces into the system. This is basketball at its most dynamic. The mix of old and new, experience and youth, precision and improvisation. Watching how these components fit together will tell us a lot about how this season is likely to unfold. The same goes for rebounding. Embiid is a monster on the glass, and Philly has bigs who can crash hard, so the Celtics' big men are going to have to earn every rebound. It's a physical, mental, and strategic challenge, and seeing how the team navigates it is part of the thrill. There's also the question of individual performances versus team cohesion. Players like Jaylen Brown, officially listed as questionable last night, are going to be key factors in determining the outcome of these early matchups. Will he be able to contribute at full strength? Can he set the tone for the team on both ends? And when you layer in the young guys, the new rotations, and the different offensive sets, you realize that every minute counts, every possession matters, and every decision by the coaching staff can ripple across the entire game. And let's not forget about matchups outside of Boston. The NBA is a league filled with star power, from Kevin Durant and Jimmy Butler to Luka Doncic and Steph Curry. Every night, teams are juggling strategies against elite athletes, adjusting lineups, and managing fatigue. The Celtics' ability to respond to these challenges early in the season can define their trajectory. Momentum is real in the NBA, and a strong start can build confidence that lasts for weeks. Conversely, early struggles can expose weaknesses that opponents will exploit. It's a delicate dance of talent, preparation, and adaptability. What's also fascinating is the level of excitement around key rotations and player development. Rookie minutes, bench contributions, and the integration of veterans all play a role in shaping the team's identity. Will the Celtics stick to traditional lineups, or will we see innovative combinations that exploit mismatches? Will the bench provide stability or sporadic bursts of energy? These are the elements that make following a season from day one so captivating. And amidst all of this, there's the human element, the stories behind the players. Tatum recovering from injury, Brown entering what could be a prime year, and other contributors stepping into new roles. These narratives add depth and context, reminding us that basketball is not just about numbers and stats, but about resilience, adaptation, and seizing opportunity. Every pass, every shot, every defensive rotation carries with it a story of preparation, mindset, and competitive spirit. This is why the opening games are always electric. You can feel the tension and anticipation in the air, and the stakes are immediate. The Celtics have spent months preparing, and now we get to see all that work translated into action. The speed, intensity, and unpredictability of the first few games will set the tone, and we'll see who rises to the occasion. Every matchup is an opportunity to test strategy, evaluate performance, and witness the unfolding chemistry of the roster. For Celtics fans, these moments are priceless, and the excitement is unmatched. Now, shifting focus to some of the key individual matchups, it's impossible not to zero in on how the Celtics are going to handle a dominant presence like Joel Embiid. He's the kind of player who can take over a game with sheer physicality and skill, but the Celtics have shown in preseason that they are willing to mix defensive strategies, switch on screens, and apply constant pressure. It's not about stopping him entirely, because let's be honest, no one stops Embiid, but about making him earn everything. You force him into tough shots, make him work for every rebound, and rely on team coordination to minimize the damage. Players like Tillman and the veteran Horford bring a combination of size, agility, and experience that can at least make Embiid's night a challenge rather than a smooth cruise to a monster stat line. Defensive intensity is where this Celtics team is really going to be tested early on. Every single possession is a chance to send a message, and Missoula has clearly set the tone. No slacking, no hesitation. The young guys are going to feel the weight of that expectation immediately. If a rookie misses a rotation or a veteran doesn't box out, the consequence is immediate. That type of coaching style can be controversial, but it's also what turns a team from good to great. You watch the veterans adapt, the rookies grow, and suddenly, the team isn't just a collection of talent. It's a cohesive, disciplined, and reactive unit capable of playing at an elite level. Offensively, the Celtics are built to create space, find open shots, and push the pace whenever possible. The three-point shot is going to be a key factor, and it's something we've seen emphasized during training. Players like Josh, Walsh, and even bench contributors like Hugo and Sammy Hauer are all capable of stretching the floor. That's a dangerous mix when combined with the driving lanes created by Brown and Tatum. If the ball movement is crisp, the Celtics can turn defensive attention into open looks, and that could be the difference between a competitive game and a statement victory. But as always, execution is everything. Timing, spacing, and decision-making under pressure will determine whether these plays succeed or result in turnovers. Another fascinating aspect is the rotation management and how the coaching staff handles minutes in high-pressure situations. Early games provide insight into who can handle the load, who thrives under stress, and who needs more seasoning. It's one thing to perform well in practice, but the real test comes under the crowd, the cameras, and the stakes of a live game. We'll see how the team reacts to the quick hooks that Mazzulla isn't afraid to employ. Quick adjustments, short leashes, and constant accountability are not just coaching choices. They're statements about the culture of the team. Every substitution, every matchup decision, and every timeout call communicates the standards expected from every player on the court. And then there's the matter of the wings. The perimeter is where games can be won or lost, and the Celtics have some intriguing options. How quickly can new players adjust to defensive assignments? Can they guard multiple positions without fouling? Are they prepared to attack mismatches offensively while staying disciplined defensively? The answers to these questions will define the early success of the team. The bench will also play a pivotal role. Players coming off the bench have to maintain energy, contribute scoring, and support the starters in executing game plans. It's a delicate balance between letting young players develop and keeping the team competitive. Looking beyond the first game, it's also critical to consider matchups throughout the opening week. Teams like the Sixers, Miami Heat, and Toronto Raptors present unique challenges. Each opponent brings a different style, tempo, and set of threats. The Celtics will have to adjust dynamically, rotating personnel, exploiting matchups, and making in-game adjustments on the fly. Basketball at this level is about constant adaptation, and the first few games are where you begin to see the team's identity emerge. Do they thrive on tempo, or do they prefer a more controlled half-court approach? How resilient are they in close situations? These early tests reveal patterns that can carry through an entire season. It's also worth noting how much attention is focused on the big stars like Tatum and Brown. Their performances often set the tone for the rest of the team. Tatum returning from injury is a huge storyline. His health, confidence, and rhythm will dictate much of the Celtics' offensive flow. Brown entering what many consider his prime adds another layer of expectation. He's expected not just to score but to lead, to set an example on both ends, and to be a stabilizing force in high-pressure moments. How he balances personal performance with team responsibilities will be fascinating to watch. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NBA landscape, whispers have begun circulating that Devin Booker, the prolific scorer who has been the heartbeat of the Phoenix Suns for years, might be swapping the desert heat for the storied parquet of Boston. Sources close to league circles suggest that the Celtics are looking to bolster their perimeter firepower, and who better to ignite the offense than Booker himself? While nothing has been officially confirmed, the rumor mill is running at full speed. Insiders hint that Boston sees Booker as the missing piece to their championship puzzle, a player capable of stretching defenses and creating plays in crunch time. The thought of him pairing up with the Celtics' young core and seasoned veterans has NBA fans buzzing, with speculation on how his signature mid-range jumper and lethal three-point accuracy would mesh with the team's high-tempo style. Booker's potential arrival in Boston would mark a seismic shift, not only for the Celtics, but for the entire Eastern Conference. Phoenix fans are reportedly bracing for the possibility of losing one of their brightest stars, a player whose clutch performances have become synonymous with the Suns' identity. Meanwhile, in Boston, whispers in the locker room suggest excitement and intrigue, with teammates reportedly eager at the prospect of sharing the floor with a scoring dynamo who can dominate the perimeter. Analysts are already dissecting the possibilities: how Booker's presence might change defensive schemes, how he could complement the Celtics' existing playmakers, and whether he could be the key to pushing the franchise past its perennial rivals. Social media is alive with speculation, memes, and hot takes, fueling what could be one of the most talked about off-season developments in recent memory. Of course, until official announcements are made, this remains firmly in the realm of bubbling rumor. But the mere idea of Devin Booker leading the perimeter for Boston is enough to send ripples across the league. Fans from Phoenix to Boston are watching closely, imagining what a pairing like this could mean for the next NBA season, and for a Celtics team hungry to reclaim its place at the top. Could this be the beginning of a new era in Boston, or is it just another tantalizing rumor destined to fade with the summer heat? Only time will tell. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.